Anything like that is and always has been just a routine, normal thing. It's not unusual to have those things occur, and state agencies ask for stuff all the time. It's just kind of a bummer when they get misinformation and then we have to respond to it.
Okay, thank you. The next item on is the reported status and completion of the emergency groundwater well. You kind of covered that already from my perspective. Right. Am I missing something there?
No, that as far as wanted to look at the cost of the.
That's the next item.
Right.
Is the cost comparison, cost of operation of emergency groundwater well versus the operation of Lake McClure. You
right.
provided a chart for
right.
that.
And that again, that information is just comparing the purchased water cost, the cost per acre foot that we pay, and the power cost.
Raw water cost.
Right. There are other costs associated with the purchased water or the surface water from Lake McClure that we're seeing now. We've paid 2 bills related to the petition that was submitted to the state of California to be able to draw water below minimum pool of 115,000 acre feet. That was that we had to participate in that cost with MID, and that is another, I believe between the two of them it's $11,000. Anyway, that you would normally include that if we did a more detailed evaluation of what the surface water cost is versus the well water. We include that, but then also you've got the cost of operating the number of pumps that we have at the McClure intake versus the wells, and what is the cost per gallon for the equipment. That's a more detailed evaluation that we haven't started yet. We should give a little time to get back up and running, and then we can look at that.
On the outside place you use metered properties, you got somebody named Walker that came from nothing to 50 and 69.
They had a leak.
Over 2 months.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe he may have fixed that by now. We
Hope so.
contacted him. We went out to help turn it off for him so we could.
Oh gosh.
We don't have air.
Oh, we don't?
We
Oh.
do not have air.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because the air conditioner broke last year.
It's on, but it doesn't.
Keep up.
Yeah,
It just doesn't keep up. It's just an old system.
just think cold.
Yeah.
You know, think, so just for the purpose of the discussion, you know, the cost of operating the lake pumps last year, because they haven't been operated that much this year, is about $346 per acre foot, again, just for power and purchase water. And then the cost of the wells, and again, we only have a few months of operating costs for the new wells, $173.30 per acre foot. One thing that we intend to do is when we have a little bit more metered PG&E metered data, and we also have the information from the SCADA, from the reports that we're going to get with the equipment that monitors the water levels and the power consumption, is to be able to look at it on a well by well basis to see if there's any difference. And you can also do a lot of troubleshooting based on the cost per acre foot.
You brought it up, the recovery of now stop pumping for a month.
I don't know where we are, just a couple of weeks.
But we getting.
Yes, we are recovering. I don't know what the level is right now.
Can you report that next month?
Yes, and we should be able to have that data by the month after that. We'll have it real time. We'll be able to see what it is on a real time basis.
I'm not sure I understand it.
His question is, the wells have been running consistently for the last 4 months, but now they've been shut off. He's wondering what is the recovery rate of the water cable coming back up within the wells. And that's what he's asking. The well, we'll just say the wells were at 100 feet and pumping from 100 feet. And now, since they've been shut off, now the standing water level is like 90 feet or something like that. That's what he's asking.
Good question.
Okay. Anything else you want to mention?
No, that is the concern that you would always have with a hard rock well, is you don't ever want to draw it down pump runs out of water. And because you don't have a defined aquifer, there's no way to measure the water supply that's behind that fracture, except that you can do the evaluation that we did when we first put the wells in to determine what their capacity might be and is, and that's where we've been operating them, and the wells have not even dropped as much as we estimated that they would. So we're comfortable with saying that the ratings that we gave those are accurate.
And now that we're on the lake water, we're still continuing to use those wells just to maintain them.
We will.
Yes.
We're not, right now, we're in construction, so we've taken that, we're disassembling that pipe and.
But there is a plan to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Use them or exercise them periodically? Depending
To
on.
be able to, in the draft budget information, you'll see it's, I believe I have $2,000 per well, which
Okay.
would be about probably a month's supply from each of those wells.
Okay.
Operating them continuously for a month. It's primarily just to operate it, to see its reaction, to see how it does and various, and also, like you said, to exercise it.
Okay, thank you. Moving on the next agenda item, there's 3 items in this category under item 4. It's read and file the April's Treasurers Report, approval of minutes from the regular board meeting of April 18th, and approve a resolution extending the drought emergency declaration in accordance with the California Public Contract Code. All 3 of these items can be put in under one motion, and we can discuss it or whatever. So
I'll go ahead and give approval on these 3 items.
okay, you say you have a motion to approve all items in 4, the consent calendar as presented.
Yes.
Second? You can ask the question after you second.
Well, I'll give you a second, but I want to take something out because I wasn't here. But other than that, I'll second.
Okay.
You want to remove something
You wanna
from the
remove something?
agenda?
Yeah, you know, the minutes of April 18th, I would just, if you could act on that separately, then I can approve all the other stuff because I wasn't here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you want us, okay, so we'll separate the 2 items, so we will put in the treasurer's report and the resolution, so that's items A and C.
So we have approval for items A and C.
Are you okay with this?
And is that, who did the
That's fine.
first? And
Dan said that's fine, he'll adjust his motion to
is
cover
he's
that.
the first and
Emery's
Emery's
the
second?
second, okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna, the conversation and dialogue's open for the treasurer's report or the resolution extending the drought emergency trust.
Treasurer's report, just, I wanted to make sure that our water expense thing, and I'm looking at it here. I lost it. I had it, now it's gone.
Are you referencing the MID water
Yes,
expense?
MID water situation, accounting situation that's been corrected finally.
Purchase,
Yeah,
it's on the bottom of the night, purchase water actual,
Yep, looking at it.
13,270.
On page 20.
Okay, all right, so we had budgeted year-to-date 35,664, we're at 13,2. Okay.
Well, that's a negative credit. Next month, you'll have, that's an adjustment because we have been accruing a different amount each month.
And we
Okay.
finally fixed this.
And yeah, so now what I did is I submitted the meter readings to the accounting firm, and the meter readings that are done at the first of the month for each of the locations throughout the system. So that's submitted. Then they take that based on the cost per acre foot. They do the math because we're only billed every 6 months. So this allows us to accrue that estimated expense. So that is a credit because it was shown as being spent, that we spent more previously, and that wasn't the case. It was just accrued at a higher rate.
It's a
So
6-month adjustment.
I understand that, all I'm getting at is we're back on the narrow
we
path.
have budgeted $80,900, and we have a remaining budget of $45,236. That's the last 2 columns.
Right, all right.
Okay. Emery, any questions?
Well, we didn't say we didn't pull anything out.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
We did.
Yes.
The
Right
item
now.
is not for discussion at this point in time, is the meeting minutes
Oh.
as requested by you.
Okay, well, I'll ask one question, and you know we didn't take the item out, but on page 23, is that all right or not?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
You got page number?
Are you asking about the minutes or about items A? Right now, we're working on A and C. We have a motion to approve A and C.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the
Okay.
check register thing, but I didn't say I wanted to ask questions about it, so am I
Okay.
off base by asking a question?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, down here on the communication campus, that number is different than what it's supposed to be there. And I may have hit the wrong line when I came across. I'm trying to figure out, is that Griswold that's got the 8-2 there, or is it somebody else?
Are you trying to, you're trying to line it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to line it up. Is it Griswold, or who's got that?
Griswold is 40776.
Okay, is it Campa that's got that 8 number there? Because I thought we were paying 6, and that's what I was wondering. You said you weren't doing any more
Yeah, that's
drought stuff. That's roots drought stuff?
right. This is from 2 months,
Okay, got
2
it.
months ago,
I get
March.
it. Okay, drought stuff. Get it. Understand. That's all.
Jim?
Yeah, I have some questions concerning the emergency resolution. I've had some hang-ups about this before. And some of the verbiage in here, I'm a little confused. On paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, as I understand, I'm starting on page 27 is what we're going to adopt if this passes, correct? Is that,
Mine's not numbered.
oh,
but-
okay. I'll wait for that.
The first page.
Okay. It says, whereas the district has determined that the remaining groundwater supply in Lake McClure is inadequate to meet domestic sanitation fire purposes. But if we go back in, and I'm jumping ahead, I'm sorry about that. If we go ahead to, we're talking about the savings, the conservation efforts, we have a paragraph on page 33 that says, we've hereby considered that the water supply is adequate to meet the water needs of the district. So we have conflicting data. We're saying in one that we have adequate water, and another that we say we don't have adequate water. So I'm confused on that, and I'll jump to my next one.
Let me resolve that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's get-
Want to go one at a time?
Yeah. that'd be good.
That is, this resolution has been before the board each and every month for, gosh, I don't know, 9
It's
months,
been a
8
long
months.
time.
And the dilemma is, in the last 2 months, since the water supply has come up, and now the declaration is that we have adequate water supply, that could have been removed from this resolution. Because it's really, it's more of just a timing issue
Correct. And
with
it's only been a matter of
with 1
weeks.
month remaining. So what was the specific page again?
27.
27, and this is, yeah. is that-
104, I think.
Again, these were, all of these
It was
resolutions
boilerplate.
were related to the very beginning. So it is, it's known that that's not the case, but we could certainly consider removing the entire whereas.
My concern is if we're approving this month after month, that if I raise my hand and say I'm good with this, this is a misstatement of the facts.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my concern is. And I have 3 concerns actually from this, based on what it says. And I do understand it's just kind of rolled on month to month, but as things have changed over the last 2 weeks, and we're not pumping from the wells, we're pumping from the lake, because there is one here that says we're deriving all our money from all our water from the emergency wells, which is indeed not true.
Let's get those exact paragraphs and
Okay.
we'll just take them out.
Paragraph.
That would have been,
Paragraph.
we would have removed those.
Can you read the paragraph for me?
We're page 104, bottom line, next to the bottom.
Well, I've got 3 paragraphs. We'll start at the top. Whereas the district has determined that the remaining water supply in Lake McClure
That one is to be removed? Is that
If-
what we're?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yes, because I just can't say yes.
Okay.
The second one is, whereas state and federal restrictions